Shabbat Shalom, my friends. Before I begin my comments this morning, I'm sending special love and hugs to Nancy and to Dennis in Westchester. In any way that I can, I am sharing in your pain and in your loss and sending you my love. Okay, what a Shabbat awaits us tomorrow evening, Sunday evening, well, whatever, if you're watching this tomorrow, in any event, Sunday evening is Erev Rosh Hashanah. I will be attending services in synagogue with my family that evening, Sunday evening, and Monday and Tuesday mornings as well. I know that many of you will be doing the same with your family and friends. For those of you who will be in synagogue, for those who will be observing the beginning of these Yamim Noraim on a hilltop overlooking the ocean or a quiet place in the desert, or in the privacy of your own homes, or watching services live stream, or even if you're on a cruise, please accept my personal very best wishes for a Shana Tova, for a good year, for a Shana Metuka, for a sweet year, for a Shana Shel Briut, for a year of good health, for a Shana Shel Ahava v'Shalom, a year of love and peace, for a year, Shana Shel Shlemut, in which things come together for you and for us as our lives fill with meaning and with worthy purpose. So here we stand, Anachnu Nitzavim. Here we stand at the threshold of the year 5779. And not coincidentally, our Sedra this Shabbat morning, this last Shabbat of the old year, is entitled Nitzavim. Deuteronomy 29:9, and following the first words of the Sedra are, and I quote, Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem Lifnei Adonai Elohechem. You are standing, all of you this day, before the eternal your God. The Revised Plaut Torah commentary, written by Gunther Plaut of blessed memory, describes Moses' final words here as, and I quote, characterized by broad and sweeping vigor, its words couched in striking prose, its images rich in compelling allusions. Halavai, would that somebody, anybody, even once, would have described even one of the sermons that I've delivered since I was ordained in 1965 in that fashion. Halavai, it hasn't happened. Okay. Because of its transcendent power, much of today's Sedra will end up being quoted throughout the high holiday liturgy on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So, as a thought experiment, perhaps, first time I've asked, perhaps you will read this very short Sedra of 1.5 chapters before you go to Erev Rosh Hashanah services Sunday evening and discover how its words continue to echo through our liturgy and through the generations. To the text. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 15 and following. This happens at the very end of our Sedra. Quote, see, I set before you this day life and prosperity, death and adversity. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. Close quote. On the face of it, this is a very strange challenge. We are living in a time when there is increasing focus on end-of-life issues. There are abundant essays and op-ed pieces and books dedicated to such questions as to whether it is ever rational to choose death, and whether laws dealing with family-assisted or friend-assisted or doctor-assisted suicide should not only be decriminalized, but should become more of an actual option for some people in certain carefully and narrowly defined circumstances. In such settings, people perhaps might choose death. Okay. A separate topic, a worthy topic, a profound topic, deserving of our consideration, but that's not what Moses is talking about here. Moses is telling the broad population that life and death are choices that people can and do make regularly during the course of their lives. And he is urging us, all of us, over the generations, to choose life. For Rashi, the meaning here is clear, pashut. It's simple, obvious, because the text goes on to say that choosing life really means loving God, walking in God's ways, keeping the mitzvot. For Nachmanides, similarly, it is pashut, very simple. There is no force on heaven and no force on earth stopping us from choosing life by choosing God's ways. So do it. Simple. And Sforno adds that choosing life here really means choosing eternal life. If we make the right decisions, we will be granted the ultimate of all rewards, life everlasting. Abarbanel says that this free choice is the yesod, important word, the yesod, the very foundation of the Torah. This choice defines our humanity. For Abarbanel, being human means choosing those matters that yield the most meaning and value to our lives. Not bad. And then we have Midrash Tanchuma, that no matter how much is predetermined about our lives, the capacity to choose is fully within our hands. Okay, I mean, those are great sermons, great texts. That's terrific. And then I chanced, literally, this week, to come upon some writings of Erich Fromm. And I quote, Fromm, every act of irreverence for life, every act which neglects life, which is indifferent to and wastes life, is a step toward the love of death. This choice man must make at every minute. Never were the consequences of the wrong choice as total and as irreversible as they are today, Fromm wrote. Never was the warning of the Bible so urgent, and here he quotes, our Sedra, I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life that you and your children may live. Wow. Wow. Every act of irreverence for life, every act which neglects life, which is indifferent to and wastes life, is a step toward the love of death. And that's a choice we make every single day. Pinchas Peli, one of my great favorites, picked up on Fromm. He wrote that choosing life is not a commandment that has anything to do with biological life and biological death. Choosing life, said Peli, is all about how we live our lives. The principles and the values that we embrace, and the principles and values that we reject. Peli quotes Reb Nahum of Chernobyl, who, this is great and authentic, when referring to one of his own rabbinic colleagues, said this one has already been dead for 5 years, yet no one has bothered to tell him. That's a great line. Reb Nahum was not, and I repeat, not referring to zombies. A colleague who was dead for 5 years, people had failed to tell him that. So being alive here is not the same as surviving. And being dead doesn't necessarily mean no longer functioning in a biological sense. To be alive means to grow. To be alive means to choose. To be alive means to respond. To be alive means to develop, to evolve. And to be dead, that means to stop growing. That means to fossilize. It means an unwillingness to choose. Death is understood here as a refusal to respond to what is really going on in our world. To be dead means to fail, to refuse to evolve, to refuse to develop. Anachnu Nitzavim. Here we stand before the new year, before the very presence of God. Through the words of Moses, Jewish tradition is asking us to choose life on a daily basis. Choose life by embracing personal growth. Choose life by being alive to all that is happening around us. Choosing life is to care and then to respond to our world and to all of its challenges. The exhortation to choose life is a call for us to continue growing, to continue evolving, and especially in this world today, and to continue to be passionate about that which we prize and that which we value. That's it. Have a wonderful new year. May each of us, in our own way, choose life on a daily basis. And may our choices be pleasing in the eyes of God. Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, and please, as your last good deed as the old year ends, hit share so that others may join us. Shabbat Shalom, Shana Tova, my friends.